Hey, what's going on, nation? AJ Reilly here again for another episode of The Corner, breaking down the last series with the Los Angeles Angels, previewing the series again with the Royals. And in the leadoff, I want to talk about Aaron Judge and this historic chase that he's on. And then in the peanut gallery at the end, let's talk about some projections for the rest of the season. It's winding down. We're in the last less than 30 games of the baseball season, and that makes it a sad time for baseball fans, but also an exciting time because, as we talked about on the last episode, the playoff race is among us. It is here and it is heating up, and you can check out the recap and the thoughts on that in the previous episode number 30. But we have some other excitement as well. There are some fantastic storylines that are going around Major League Baseball for individual players, and baseball's a team game, but we like to focus on individual achievement as well when it comes to this game, because there's some pretty incredible feats that are going on. And so I want to talk specifically about Aaron Judge. But before I do that, I do want to remind you that wherever you're at on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, follow Detroit Sports Nation. The newest, best Detroit sports and sports world at large content is there. And don't forget to like and subscribe at our YouTube page. Hit that bell for notifications when the latest content comes out. And this show, The Corner, is on Twitter at DSN at The Corner. Follow me there for some baseball conversation, discussion, debate, whatever you want to have. I just want to interact with you, so make sure that you are there. Let's jump right into the leadoff, and let's talk about Aaron Judge, and let's talk about the history that Aaron Judge is chasing. And I got a little bit of a bone to pick, I'm not gonna lie, specifically with baseball fans, because when players are having these great seasons, for whatever reason, we assume the worst in a lot of ways. I'm gonna give you some stats, and then we're gonna have a little chat. Okay, through 133 games that the Yankees have played this season, Aaron Judge currently sits with a 301 average, of 407 on base percentage, and a 683 slugging percentage. My man has belted 55 home runs and has 118 RBI. Clearly in the MVP discussion, having a great season, and there's no doubt that he should be having a great season because he's due for a contract in the offseason, and it's going to be a large contract. Now, at 30 years old, it's probably not going to be a huge year contract, but there could be a Carlos Correa type, multiple opt-out contract due Aaron Judge, specifically because of the caliber of season that he's having. But he is only 6 home runs away from the AL record of 61 set by another former Yankee, Roger Maris, in 1961. And the chase is definitely on. Fangraphs has Judge projected to beat Maris by 1, with him sitting at 55 through 133 games. He's technically ahead of Maris's pace by 2 games, meaning that he should get there without a problem, especially with the fact that, I forget who the commentator was, but they were saying that, Aaron Judge hitting home runs is like taking a vitamin. It's just something that happens daily. So what are some thoughts on this? Well, some thoughts on this are, number one, Judge has been incredible. I mean, he is literally the most valuable player to the New York Yankees. Now, there's a great debate between, is he the most valuable player in the league, next to Shohei Ohtani, and we can have those debates. Like, Ohtani is the greatest player right now, especially with what he can give you pitching and hitting wise. 33 home runs, he's got 11 wins, a very low ERA, strikes out a ton of players. He's just incredibly valuable. But Judge is otherworldly right now. Like I said, 301, 407, 683. He's got a 450 weighted on base average, a 203 weighted runs created, which is 103% above Major League average. And on the season so far, he's an 8.9 WAR player. But yet, when we get into, these historic moments and guys mashing baseballs and hitting a lot of home runs, inevitably, there's some, people, they call themselves baseball fans, but apparently they get very little enjoyment out of life because they automatically go to, well, he's cheating. Okay, I'm not going to speculate. You can think what you want, but at a certain point, you have to enjoy the ride. To discredit what somebody is doing on the baseball field says more about you as a fan than it does about them as a player. It's unbelievable. I mean, Maris even dealt with the same thing in 1961. He was threatening the home run record set by the great Babe Ruth. And Commissioner Landis at the time did not want to, it wasn't Commissioner Landis, I can't even remember off the top of my head who it was. It was Babe's ghostwriter, I know that for a fact. But he could not stand the fact that Babe's record was going to be beaten. And so he made a ruling that if Maris broke the record in 154 games like the Babe had done, then the record would stand. But if not, it would have an asterisk next to it, and there would be 2 records. So the Babe's names wouldn't be, replaced in the history books. Not to mention the New York media getting on the case juiced as Maris was looking to dethrone the king of New York, right? The great Bambino, the Colossus of Clout. And it's depicted from Maris's perspective in the movie 61. But don't we as fans do the same thing nowadays ever since the steroid scandal? Oh, guy's hitting a lot of home runs. He must be on the juice. It's really insane that we're unable to sit back, just step back and appreciate the history that's taking place in front of our eyes. You know, there's debate as to what is the real home run record. Is it 73 home runs set by Barry Bonds, or is it really 61 set by Maris because Maris wasn't on juice and we believe that Bonds was on juice? I don't care how many things you inject into your body, you still have to hit a baseball. And when all the scandal was going around with the Houston Astros, there was a pitcher on Twitter that came out and said, I would much rather, guys, juice than know what's coming in the batter's box. You know why? Because you can take all the juice you want in the world, you still have to hit the baseball. So the real home run record, just so we're clear on everything, and this comes from a guy who's generally an old school mindset when it comes to baseball, though I've evolved as I believe people should when it comes to new information. The real home run record, just to set the record straight, is 73 home runs. Hit by Barry Bonds in 2001. Like, that is the home run record. It's not debatable. He hit 73 home runs. So let's talk about Aaron Judge. He's 6 away from Roger Maris, 7 from breaking his record, which would be the American League all-time record. He's got 29 games to do it. Does he get there? Yeah, I think he does. But let's look a little bit broader. 73 being the home run record, that means he's 18 off pace. That means that he has 18 home runs he needs to hit. And he's got 29 games to do it. Has it happened before? Sammy Sosa hit 24 in 29 games. Barry Bonds hit 22 in 29 games. Mark McGwire hit 20 and 21 in 29 games. JD Martinez in 2017 hit 19 in 29 games. Giancarlo Stanton hit 19 in 29 games. Could Judge challenge for the all-time home run record? It's possible, and it's going to be fun to watch. And I would argue that we should be watching because these last few games, there are so many storylines. Pujols chasing 700. Judge in the single-season home run record. Paul Goldschmidt in a potential triple crown, which hasn't been done since Miguel Cabrera almost a decade ago. Great storylines, not to mention the MLB playoff races and the energy that is going to be injected into the veins of fans, no pun intended when we talk about steroids, over the next 3 weeks, 4 weeks is going to be incredible and something that you must tune in for. I'm excited. Like, if you can't tell, I'm excited about the baseball season coming to a close, not because it's going to be over, but because of what's going to happen in the next few weeks leading into playoff baseball, which is some of the best must-see TV that there is. So I'm rooting for Aaron Judge. I like Aaron Judge. Seems to be a very quiet and simple superstar in the game. You know, Maris, when he hit his record home runs, didn't contribute as much as Judge is offensively. Yeah, the home runs helped, but he didn't hit for as high of an average. His weighted on base average wasn't as high. His weighted runs created wasn't as high. You want to talk about somebody that's valuable, you're talking about Aaron Judge. And you want to talk about somebody that's going to get his bag in the offseason, you're talking about Aaron Judge because of what he is doing this season, and it is going to be super fun to watch, and I hope that you will tune in and appreciate it for what it is. Because I know I am. I'm going to tune into the Yankees games when I can. I'm going to turn on the Cardinals when I can to watch Goldschmidt and Pujols. All the other tight playoff races. When the Mets play the Braves, this is an exciting time to be a baseball fan. And if you can't enjoy that, you might want to get your pulse checked because you may have something wrong. So let's appreciate Aaron Judge for what he's doing. Let's appreciate the other storylines that are going on because it is exciting and it is what is good for the game that we all love. That's going to do it for the leadoff. Let's move into the recap of this series in Anaheim, and holy moly, a lot of home runs hit. The Angels themselves hit 3 a game. 9 home runs over the entire series. Are you kidding me? Trout homered in every game. I think he's homered in 4 straight games. Ohtani did not homer in every game, but he did homer 3 times. Game 1, we're not even going to talk about. 10-0 loss, there's nothing to talk about. The Tigers just sucked that game. They were terrible. Tyler Alexander, again. Game 2, lost 5-4 in extras. Gave up 3 home runs. Top of the 10th, Javi Baez singled on a pitch that I swear was in the middle of the left-handed batter's box. I have no idea how he hit that ball. Then in the bottom of the 10th, aims a ball, doesn't even throw the ball. But you knew as soon as he hesitated, the play wasn't going to be made. The Angels tie the game and then win on a safety squeeze with the next batter. Andrew Chafin takes a loss. They lose 5-4 in extras and a walk-off. In Game 3, they avoided the series sweep. They won 5-4. Tigers hit 4 home runs and the Angels hit 3 more. Torkelson hit a bomb. Haas hit a bomb. Kerry Carpenter hit a line drive that barely cleared the wall in the top of the 9th. And then back-to-back, Ryan Kreidler hit his first career home run to give the Tigers the lead, and Gregory Soto closed the door. So the Tigers now sit 33 games under 500 because there's just not enough clean baseball to go around to make winning a consistent thing right now. But we always we try to look for a silver lining if there are some. And the silver lining right now is that these young guys are getting play. Like Ryan Kreidler has been a breath of fresh air. Are the numbers where you want to be? No, he's hitting 200. Okay, I get it. He's got 4 hits and 20 at-bats. But he's walked a few times. He's also struck out a few times. He roped a double in game 2. He hits a home run in game 3. Like, those are the things you want to see. And his defense has been smooth and has been good, which is putting a target on Mr. Jeimer Candelario's back. And at some point on the corner here in the next few weeks, we're going to spend some time talking about, if I were GM, here's what I would do. But these young guys getting run is a good thing. Kerry Carpenter making an impact on the game. Ryan Kreidler making an impact on the game. Josh Lester, congrats to him, made his debut in this series. These things are important, especially as it concerns the future and 2023. But the boys, they left Los Angeles. They got an off day on Thursday, and they head to Kansas City, the Royals, for a 3-game series this weekend. Now, they just got done playing the Royals last weekend. And so there's not a lot or a ton of information that I can give you as far as, oh, here's what needs to happen for them to win. We know what the Royals are at this point. We've played 13 games against them. We've lost 8 of those 13 games against them. And so we know what the Royals are. And we know, as I said in the last, preview to the Royals series, how pesky this team is, because they are. So when we talk about a preview for the Royals, I'm going to give you the pitching matchups and then maybe discuss a little bit of how can we pull something out in Kansas City. Game 1, Friday night, Joey Wentz is back, and that's a good thing. After, the last outing of Michael Pineda was DFA'd. And he kind of threw some shade at the organization, like, yeah, I missed this bonus. I also, can't be on a playoff roster. Yeah, you're right, but the Tigers also could not release you and DFA you while you were on the injured list. That's not the organization's problem. And if you wanted to hit that innings bonus, you should have pitched a little bit better, say in your outing against Cleveland where you only went 2 innings. How is that on the organization? It's not, Michael. You just weren't good enough this season. And I understand that DFAing a veteran like that's had a career that Pineda has had can be a difficult thing, but it was a necessary thing. Why? Because Joey Wentz is ready to pitch again. Joey Wentz could be potentially part of the competitive window. Michael Pineda is not. And you cut dead weight when you need to cut dead weight. And Michael Pineda at this point in the season was dead weight. So let's talk about Joey Wentz. In the minor leagues since coming back from injury, he's struck out about 8 per 9. He's walked just over 3 per 9. He's got a 1.35 ERA, but a 3.98 FIP. So that ERA indicates he's gotten a little bit luckier on the side of things than maybe he hasn't gotten lucky. He's gone 26 and 2/3 innings pitched in the minor leagues, 4 earned runs and 23 Ks. And we know that before he got injured, he was pitching better in Detroit. Take away his debut where it was not good, which is okay, right? We want adjustments. We want guys learning how to pitch at the major league level. He's going to be taking on Daniel Lynch, who started against Detroit in that last series, who went 5 innings, gave up 5 hits, gave up 4 earned runs, walked 3, and struck out 4, and it was the only game that the Tigers won against Kansas City in that series. So an opportunity again to win. Game 2 on Saturday. At 7:10, Matt Manning is going to be facing off against Jonathan Heasley. Now, Manning against Kansas City went 4 innings and gave up 2 runs, but walked 3, struck out 3, and was working around base runners every inning that he was out. And Manning's got to clean some things up. He's got to find the slider again. He's got to command better because he's using a lot of pitches in very few innings, and it's not getting him deep into games. Heasley, for the Royals, made his best career start against the Tigers. Shocker. Last weekend. He went 7 innings, gave up 2 earned runs. This is a guy that entering that game had a FIP near 6. And the Tigers couldn't take advantage. So Saturday is definitely, hopefully, an opportunity for redemption. You want to get the bad taste out of your mouth against the Royals this season, then you got to go and you got to attack the pitching that's available to attack. Because in Game 3, you're facing Brady Singer. Now, I know on the last preview it was supposed to be Brady Singer, and then they rolled out with a bullpen game. And I don't really understand why, and I missed the news on why, to be honest with you. But Brady Singer is slated to start against the Tigers on Sunday at 2:10. And in his last 3 games, he's gone 17 and 2/3 innings pitched, with 8 earned runs, 11 Ks, and 1 walk. And he's going to be facing off against Tyler Alexander, who didn't pitch against the Royals last series, but has not been great. In his last 3, he's 12 innings pitched, 15 earned runs, and only 9 Ks. Everything is going to be dependent upon the offense. If you can't score runs, you can't win baseball games. If you cannot hit the baseball, you cannot win baseball games. And against guys like Lynch and Heasley, you have to put the ball in play. Against a guy like Singer, you have to work professional at bats. There's no doubt that, it's going to be a tough game on Sunday, so you better get what you can get Friday and Saturday. We know that the Royals are a very pesky baseball team. They run the bases well. They create havoc when they get on base. They've got an all-world rookie in Bobby Witt Jr., who's a member of the 2020 club at 22 years old. Just incredible. Luckily for the Tigers, at least, a little feather in their cap. It's not like they passed on him because he was taken before Riley Green, but still going to be a pain in the side of the Tigers for a long time. So it's very important that this series, the Tigers find a way to scratch out a minimum of one win, hopefully a series win, and try to get to a point where they're only, 2 games behind in the series, season series, with 3 games to play. This will be the 16th, 14th, 15th, and 16th meeting between the teams this season, with 3 more in the next few weeks to end this season. It happens in Kansas City a little bit later start times. They're an hour behind us, so make sure you're tuning in on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to see if the Tigers can put something together at the end of the season, because our peanut gallery is all about projections. And right now, the Tigers are projected to lose 100 games. Now, if the Tigers are projected to lose 100 games, that means over the next 25 that they have to play, they're going 10-15. Now, these projections come from Fangraphs and from 538. They have them at 62 and 100 on the season. And those projections change daily based upon, on 538, they change weekly. Fangraphs updates a little bit quicker than that. But a 100-loss season. Nobody would have expected a 100-loss season. And why a 100-loss season? Because the Tigers are projected at a negative 186 run differential. If you look at the Fangraphs dashboard, offensively, the Tigers are the worst offense in Major League Baseball. Weighted runs created, the ability to create runs through at-bats, on the base paths, all of those different things, 21% below Major League average, 79. Just an anemic offense, something that they're just awful. Terrible. And if you remember back to September 1st, and I believe it was episode 29 of The Corner, I told you that this offense has been so bad that they're on pace to not even match their run total from 2019, when we thought that the rebuild had bottomed out. And in order to even match that total, they had to score 5 runs per game just to match the 2019 team. They've had 6 games since then and scored 13 runs, 17 behind pace and just over 2 per game. If the season ended today, and if the projections are correct, the Tigers would have the 4th overall pick in the MLB draft, giving them a top 5 pick 5 times out of the last 6 years. Those top picks, Mize, Green, Torkelson, and Job, and then the 2023 pick would be the 5th one. They picked 12th this year because of their season last year where they got Jace Young. 100-loss season. Going into 2022, did we even think this was possible? Well, notice who I have on the screen. Javi, Jamer, Jonathan, Spencer Torkelson. All relative disappointments this season. And then this guy right here, AJ Hinch. He's not innocent. He's made his mistakes this season as well. And now we're in a situation where we're going to come off of a 100-loss season and a new GM is going to be hired. Now, I like AJ Hinch, and I don't necessarily mind the fact that he's involved in the process. But it makes me a little bit nervous. It makes me a little bit nervous to have a manager in a place where his job is not on the line when a new GM comes in, and is also involved in hiring that GM. I think Hinch is one of the best managers in baseball. But if he's involved in the process, and he's not at all at loss for his job, isn't he the de facto GM, just not entitled? Does he bear any responsibility for this team in 2022? He should. Yeah. But you look at the other guys that are on the screen, I would say that they bear a lot of the responsibility. Javi, can't lay off a slider. Jeimer Candelario, huge dip in performance from last season. Scope, great defender. Swiss cheese bat. And Torkelson came up and disappointed as a rookie. Now, he can be great. He can be better. Got to work on some timing mechanisms at the plate. Got to really, just looking on Baseball Savant and looking at four-seam fastballs that he fouled off or foul tipped. There were hundreds of examples. You cannot miss meatball pitches, which Torkelson does quite often. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens over these next few weeks. If you don't want to hit 100 losses, you got to win 11 games. You would end up with 99, but it wouldn't be 100. Projected to go 10-15 over the end of the season. Last 25 games of the season. I hope they don't hit 100. But with the way they've been playing, scoring 2 runs a game over the last 13, going to fall well short of the mark set by the terrible 2019 team. that featured hitters like Brandon Dixon. What a waste and loss of a season 2022 has been for the Detroit Tigers. That's going to do it for us here on The Corner. I am AJ Reilly. I'm here with you before every series, recapping the one previous and previewing the one coming up, giving you some of my own thoughts around the game of baseball as well. I do want to remind you again to make sure you like and subscribe at YouTube and click that bell for notifications for when our latest shows drop. You can also follow me on The Corner at DSN at The Corner for baseball talk, discussions, and news around our Tigers. Listen, they're playing the Royals. It's going to be a tough series because the Royals always have our number, but it's going to be worth tuning in to watch. I'll be with you back on Monday previewing the upcoming series, which the schedule does not get light. I'll promise you that. So I'll see you on Monday, and until then, as always, go Tigers.